Why, hello everyone. Who the hell asked here? Slade and Byron. And we got a bevy of topics for you guys this week. How you
Yeah,
doing, Byron?
I'm doing good. Yes, and yeah, we have quite a few topics. So let's get started. First off, the earliest bit of news announced on the 25th that the Super Mario Bros. Film, which I don't know if that's still the official name or what, but it is delayed from its original theatrical release in December to now in April 28th in Japan, April 7th in North America.
That is correct. So, appears here that they're just putting on some finishing touches onto the film. Whatnot. They want to make sure it releases in a state that, Nintendo finds acceptable.
Yeah, like
I know that Miyamoto is particularly picky. I would be too,
yeah,
considering
he
previous
doesn't want
history.
another Mario Bros 85 or
I
whenever that
who
movie
would?
came out, like 87 or something like that.
Oh yeah. So completely understandable.
Yeah.
Obviously, some fucking quote about a rushed game is
Yeah,
never
underneath
good.
someone underneath in the Twitter reply, at least that I have, someone like edited that Miyamoto quote, except it's
Yeah.
a delayed movie is bad or something like that.
Yeah,
But
just typical Nintendo stuff.
yeah.
It's gotta be done right. You
But
gotta
it
respect it.
was weird that this movie was going to be coming out in like 8 months, and we haven't seen shit. We haven't seen anything about it besides like we know who the cast are for the major characters, which we did cover
Yeah,
on
I
a
know a lot of
previous
shit's
episode.
like come out that's Nintendo's put C&Ds on that people have leaked out.
Hmm.
I won't get into any specifics here, but apparently Nintendo's planning a whole ass cinematic universe for Mario movies and
It makes
all the characters.
sense. It makes sense if that's the case. Like
So
every
buckle up,
fucking
people.
franchise has their cinematic verse these days.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I know Sonic's got one going now. So
Yeah, God, yeah. Maybe. Yeah, Genesis did what Nintendo didn't for a while. But yeah, look forward to that. We probably, well, at least me, I won't be able to see this at launch for the movie, but yeah, look forward to that in the summer. So what's our next topic, Slade?
all right, so Sony had a not really gift card outage so much as they have confirmed that stacking PlayStation Plus with prepaid codes has been canceled, destroyed, blown to bits.
Yes. So originally, Sony officially confirmed it blocked PS Plus subscribers from stacking memberships prior to the release of the new tiers. Yeah, earlier this week it emerged that the manufacturer was preventing existing PS Plus subscribers from extending their memberships because yeah, you are able to upgrade. Like if you have, I believe it's if you have both a PS Plus and a PS Now subscription, I believe you get premium for the longer of your two subscription times and such.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're an active PS Plus member, you'll be transitioned to Essential. If you're a PS Now subscriber, you will be transitioned to Premium. And if you have both, you get transitioned to Premium for the remainder of the longer active sub. And I know people were pissed about this. They were pissed.
Oh yeah, I
'Cause
see a lot of angry messages and yeah, looking at this chart for the conversion rate, and let me say, this actually appears a lot more complicated than I initially thought this was going to be. Holy crap.
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, because like, oh, some conversions are like 50, Like, yeah, there's weird day conversions.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. It's wow.
Yeah, but the article does state it is worth reiterating, despite it being a loophole, there had been no prior communication from Sony that PS Plus stacking would be disabled until today, which I believe today was a couple days ago. Yeah, Friday, actually. Well, the update was on Friday. But yeah, like, that's another reason people were pissed, because it just happened. It happened, and yeah, it was like, what the fuck, Sony?
The fact that they could just like shadow drop this out of nowhere, I feel like this can't be legal.
Yeah,
Like,
they probably have something in their TOS to cover themselves, at least in the US. I'm not sure about the EU, because that's a whole different animal of loss.
yeah, the fact that they could just shadow drop, hey, we're changing the payment plans and what your subscriptions you bought in store are actually worth right the fuck now.
Yeah. Well,
no
okay.
warning.
The good thing, though, is that they will honor them once the new tiers have come out. So that's good, at the very least. They will honor those now. If you bought a prepaid PS Plus or PS Now voucher code, you will not be able to redeem it until June 13th in the US, June 22nd in Europe. But however, if you are not an active subscriber right now to either of those, you can redeem them now.
I see.
Yeah, so you know what? This article has the perfect 3 words. What a mess.
Yes. What a mess indeed. I'm glad I have not subscribed to any PlayStation Online services, because this seems like a real pain in the rear end.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so yeah, so that was a big thing. Speaking of big things, ladies and gentlemen, we're announcing a Who the Hell Asked episode like a month and a half in advance. Xbox and Bethesda are gonna have another games showcase at their about usual time. The Sunday of the typical E3 week, except it is, I believe, way earlier than usual.
Yes, so it's 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yes, which would be 1 p.m. for me, which would be lunchtime for Slade.
Yes, that's correct. It would be around noon for me.
Yeah.
And it is on June 12th, like Byron was saying. This is typically the same day that they would have had it had E3 continued to be a thing.
Yep.
So, kind of makes you wonder, because Microsoft's the only company that's announced anything. Do you think we see other presentations during this time frame that we would have gotten for E3, and these companies just decide,
okay,
we're just going to do our own thing?
I was about to say during the time frame, there was one mini story that flew under even our radars that I found out about like a week or 2 ago, that THQ Nordic is having an event in August. But they announced it like a few weeks ago. But
so it seems like that they're all just picking their summer dates over the summer.
Yeah,
that they're
I feel like Xbox is just going to keep their tradition. It's just we'll see. I think it's just like Sony might have a game showcase thing. Nintendo are going to have their direct whenever. Whenever.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just going to depend at this point. Like, it's just a wait and see thing.
For sure.
But yeah, this is going to be interesting, considering Xbox is got the gears grinding with all of their studios that they have acquired over the past few years, and it looks like maybe we'll get a lot of those things showcased maybe here, which would be cool.
Yeah, imagine you'll probably see like Elder Scrolls and oh gosh, they have a lot of stuff they can announce at those acquired companies.
Yeah, we definitely are getting Starfield. That's for fucking sure. Considering the game comes 100%. Out in December. Like,
yeah, they have to show something by this point.
Yeah.
Or, Twitter announced that it's been delayed like all the other good games.
Nah, they would announce it during the presentation. But yeah, and of course, It's all coming to Game Pass. Every announcement will probably come to Game Pass, so look forward to that. We do plan to do an episode, of course, the day of. So look forward to that. Our episode on the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase. And
Right.
any just like quick predictions you think you have about the Xbox Bethesda Game Showcase, or?
I can't think of any predictions right now outside of, obviously Elder Scrolls, and maybe they get some other companies involved like they would have for E3. Like, Square Enix kind of announces something in literally everybody's presentation.
Yeah.
Let's just say Final Fantasy 16's there. Let's just say that like they have a bunch of other crap going on.
Yeah.
I think we could probably do a predictions video leading up to it.
We could potentially look forward to that in the future. I will say under 2 hours. That's my prediction. This showcase goes under 2 hours.
You know what? It just occurred to me. It says Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase. So we know Bethesda is coming pretty heavy-handed. So.
Yeah, well, that's how they've titled their showcase, I think, for... I know they did it last year and possibly the year before.
I think it's because Bethesda typically has their own E3 showcase as well.
Thank God they don't anymore. Like, even without being acquired by Xbox, I would just hope they don't have their own show.
Yeah, Bethesda loves their hype.
You could say the same thing with Square after me complaining about fucking Guardians of the Galaxy taking fucking 20 minutes of that time. I'm still pissed about that, Square. I'm still pissed about that.
Well, speaking of being pissed off at Square, let's go into their biggest news this week.
All right. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have quite a final story for you. So, Balan Wonderworld. If you don't know, it was a game made by Yuji Naka's Balan company, Square Enix, and Arzest, who, fun fact, and I said this during my playthrough of Balan Wonderworld, which happened on twitch.tv/the1_Byron. I did say that this was Arzest's first HD produced game, because they typically did a lot of work on Wii stuff and 3DS stuff. This was their first big HD game. And, yeah, Balan Wonderworld ain't great.
That's putting it lightly.
But we got something interesting. So Yuji Naka on the 28th, and thanks to Cheesemeister for the translation for Yuji Naka's thread on this on Twitter. So it's reading time, ladies and gentlemen. So I was removed as the director of Balan Wonderworld about half a year before release, so I filed a lawsuit against Square Enix. Now that the proceedings are over and I'm no longer bound by company rules, I'd like to speak out. First off, holy shit.
Oh yeah, so hearing that he went after Square Enix and sued them, not terribly surprising if what he says holds up.
Yeah, but there's more, of course.
Yeah.
There's way more. So let's continue onward. So, and I'm quoting Yuji Naka, this isn't my own. I think it's wrong of Square Enix not to value games and game fans. According to court documents, I was removed as the director of Balan Wonderworld for 2 reasons. It was done by the producer, head of marketing, head of sound, which I didn't even know that was a role, but alright, head of sound, managing director, and HR, which, for those who don't know, HR is human resources. So, that's already interesting, but let's continue.
So the company banded together to chase him out the door.
Yeah, but let's continue. First, when a YouTuber's arranged piano performance of the game music was released in a promotion instead of the original game track, turning the composer into a ghostwriter, I insisted that the original track be released, and this caused trouble.
You know, I think I recall around the time the game was showed off for the first time, there was controversy over that specifically.
Yeah,
that was circulating around.
That's weird to use a YouTuber's arranged piano performance instead of the actual one. So Like, I'm in agreement there. That's a bit weird. Like, obviously, like, if you want to, like that person's, like, video or whatever, cool. That's fine. If you want to comment on it, sure. Unless, like, Square themselves or, like, licensed or, like, paid this person to be in the promo, I think that's a bit weird.
Not only do I think that's a bit weird in terms of, like, if they just straight up sold as YouTubers, like, music or whatever, or whether they paid them out or not.
Yeah.
Square Enix is notoriously stingy when it comes to music in their video games. I'm sure.
Like, at the very least, they at least release a lot of their music on, like, their YouTube channel. I believe they do Spotify releases. So, like, at the very least, they do way more than, like, Nintendo Sans Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know whether it's like, oh, well, the creator of the original soundtrack was like, no, you can't use this in your presentation of the game, screw you. Like,
But
that'd be really weird, and I don't see that actually being a thing. As I said, it's just really fascinating considering, like, Square Enix are usually very, reverent isn't the word I'm looking for.
they're very tight-lipped.
Yeah, and respectful of their composers.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Okay. All right. Second, according to court documents, Naoto Oshima told producer Noriyoshi Fujimoto that the relationship with Arzest was ruined due to comments that Naka made wanting to improve the game in the face of Arzest submitting the game without fixing bugs. Oh. Yeah. Like, that's interesting. That's very
to me, it sounds like it was a war between Square Enix, the publisher, wanting this game to come out by a certain point, and Yuji Naka specifically about wanting the game to be playable and in a good state,
like,
and wanting it to possibly be delayed.
Yeah, like, I guess he was just like, okay, this relationship's like, fuck, what are these fuckers at Arzest doing? Like,
Yeah.
In a way, I'm with him. Cause, like, yeah, maybe there's a lot of things that could have been fixed about this game. But, from a corporate standpoint, it's not a good look.
No.
So like, from that perspective, I agree with, like, Square and Arzest. But, like, obviously, like, the game shouldn't have been released in the state it was in. That was made pretty obvious when, like, everybody, and myself included, I streamed it at the time, when the demo released, and we all were like, yeah, Square, please, for the love of God, delay this. Please?
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, let's continue. Also, in an email from Oshishima to Fujimoto, he wrote, I just told the staff about the demo delay. When I told them this was producer Fujimoto's decision, let's do our best for him, the staff applauded and cheered. This was unexpected and I was moved. The staff's been down lately, but their spirits have been revived. Thank you so much. All of us on the staff will work hard. So the schedule wasn't up to me, but the producer, yet the schedule was being tight. Yet the schedule being tight was the producers doing something was off. We were releasing an original game, but only putting out an arranged track was definitely wrong. I believe that the game music that everyone can hum out are original tracks. I believe that every effort must be put in to make games the best they can be until the very end, so that game fans will enjoy what they buy. It wasn't right to, without discussion, remove and completely disassociate from the project a director saying so. That I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like something I can get behind. Like,
unless, there's some stuff that he's not talking about that happened behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I do feel like in a lot of these games, when, someone starts directing it, I think they deserve to see it through to the end.
Yeah.
I know this is actually another Square Enix example. A pretty notorious case where this happened was Final Fantasy 15.
Oh.
Where they took Tetsuya Nomura off the original project because it was originally Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Oh, God, that whole shit show.
And I think what happened is the game was in development hell to the point to where they're like, we need you working on Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 7 remake right the fuck now. So
Yeah.
you need to this Final Fantasy versus 13 thing you're passionate about. Sorry, it's time for you to get off the project. We got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
So Tetsuya Nomura, I don't think ever quite took that as well as people think he did.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of interesting, to hear that, they do it for projects that seem to not necessarily be taking a while, but also just seem to not be going well at all.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Oh,
Retweeting, liking, etc. on SNS. And such was banned, so I don't think Square Enix values game fans. There were many comments and wonderful illustrations about Balan Wonderworld, and I'm really sorry that I couldn't react to them. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I get it on one hand, like, yeah, it's like fan work, and like I don't think Square's the biggest fan of fan work, but like, it's just a like, it's just a retweet. Now, obviously, there could be like, maybe the person doing it or like doing the drawings or whatever could be like a controversial figure. So like from that perspective, I get that, but
So they didn't allow him to like or retweet fan art for the game before it came out?
Yes.
That is bizarre.
It's like, I get it on the one hand, like, like the person doing a fan art could one day come out to be like a piece of shit or something like that.
Yeah,
like
but nobody's gonna like hold Mr. Naka
well
over an open flame just because he liked a picture of a game he's developing.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that.
Okay, Byron, if I'm making a Mario game and I like a picture of Mario jumping on a Goomba, then it turns out that the dude who drew Mario on a Goomba is like a terrible person or something. Does that make me a terrible person for initially liking the art?
No, but like it could be like used against you in this day and age. I don't know how, but like it has happened. I'm not saying it should.
I disagree. I think that's a reach. If somebody is able to pull up, people can't pull up everything you've liked and whatnot.
Actually,
but I'm pretty sure you could be like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Here, let me unlike it."
Well, yeah. Well, Twitter had like sometimes on your timeline, like if you're not on like latest, it will post like, "Hey, X person liked this for some stupid reason." But
yeah, I don't know, Byron. I think that's a bit of a reach. It's like, I don't believe in like the term cancel culture, but like that's kind of the kind of stuff I would imagine that like people would be like outraged if we canceled somebody for liking a picture of something.
Yeah.
And this is again before anything even comes out that the artist was any sort of person.
Yeah. But
yeah, I don't know about that.
Let's continue. Myself, I'm truly
fun.
sorry to the customers who bought Balan Wonderworld in an unfinished state. From this point onward, I will be able to react to posts tagging me or directed only towards me on SNS and stuff. I believe that when making games, asking for fixes in order to make something good should be a given. And if that's not possible, it should be talked over, but it looks like they can't. I don't think they value games. First part, I agree with. Asking for fixes in order to make something good should be a given. Agreed. 1000% I agree with this.
Yes. I think I think more companies should stand to learn from this type of mindset.
For Sonic the Hedgehog 2 weeks before finalizing, the spec was changed so that if you had even one ring, you won't die. This now well-known rule was the result of improving the game until the very end, and people world over have enjoyed it as a result. That's shocking to hear. That originally, like, if you had one ring in a Sonic game, you'd just die. Even if you had like one ring, you're dead. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck kind of shit is that?
That was a last minute decision that they made for
2 weeks before finalizing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank God they did that, because those old 2D Sonic games, if you didn't have that fucking safety window of a ring, that was brutal.
Oh, yeah. They're rough. All right, continuing on. Improving a game until the very end is what being a game creator is all about, and if that's not possible, something's wrong. I asked my lawyer to negotiate my just being able to comment until the end of production, but their refusal led me to file suit. Interesting to know that. I think that the resulting Balan Wonderworld and the critical reception it received have a lot to do with what happened. I'm really disappointed that a product I worked on from the start turned out this way. I personally regret that Balan Wonderworld was released to the world in such an unfinished state. I wanted to consider all kinds of things and release it as a proper action game. I don't think that Square Enix and Arzest value games and their fans.
He's really driving that they don't value games point as hard as he can. Well, it's hard to say I disagree, but the thing is, Square Enix is the company outside of Nintendo that's super notorious for delaying their games.
Yeah, actually. We've joked, like, with Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. Like, yeah, there's gonna be delays. More so Slade than me, because Slade plays more Square games than I do, but even I know.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 is, like, notoriously been delayed for, like, 8+ years and whatnot.
Yeah.
And there's always examples like that. It could just be, like, which team's heading the project. Maybe more teams get more preferential treatment than others. I know Tetsuya Nomura is basically God with the company. So whatever he does, they fucking just nod and listen for the most part.
But
they're like, oh, you need some more time? Okay, Tetsuya, have more time.
Yeah, but man, there's a lot to unpack. Like, there is the fact that a lot of the team wanted him gone, which is interesting.
Yeah, so that makes me wonder if there's more things going on behind the scenes there that he's not alluding to.
Yeah, I think like, we don't have any other information at this moment from anybody else at Square. Either probably because they don't want to say anything or they're under an NDA, whatever the case. This is all the info we have. We have one man's side of the story. And some aspects, like a lot of the like stuff about like, oh, gotta keep working on the game till the end, improve it and stuff. I agree with all that. But stuff like him Yuji Naka being booted off was done by the producer, the head of marketing, head of sound, and managing director, and HR. Makes me scratch my chin. Like,
well,
what?
I'll just say
more?
This: if a company wants you gone, they're gonna take every avenue to make sure that you're gone.
Yeah, true. But we don't know like if something more nefarious happened behind the scenes. We don't.
Naturally.
We don't know.
That's also what I was alluding to. We can't just 100% take everything Mr. Naka says at his word.
Yeah.
Because again, we don't know what happened that caused him to be gone with the company or whatnot. It's so weird because Square is a company that's really notorious for like delays and whatnot.
Yeah.
That they would force this game onto like store shelves release an unplayable state. And I feel like Yuji Naka is kind of speaking to the popular perception of, you know, this game was rushed because of the publisher, because Square wanted it on shelves. They don't care about fans and whatnot.
I have a theory.
He's like hitting all the popular talking points in regards to that.
Yeah, I have a theory.
We don't know whether he's being 100% genuine.
Yeah. And there's a theory I want to throw out there. Square probably was like, okay, the pandemic. I'm not saying that's the only reason. I'm saying that was probably a factor, like the pandemic, them hurting a little bit for money, possibly. I'm not sure about that, but again, I'm just theorizing. Maybe that was part of the reason of like, we kind of just want to get this out.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the only big thing that's going through like my head is like pandemic. Like, cause like
I think that's possible, but
it's possible. I'm not saying that's like the only reason. It's just like a reason I thought of in my head at this moment. But
I said I've seen instances where Square Enix would delay games for like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So like As I said, I'm just not entirely sure that logic really holds up because every company in the gaming industry was impacted by the pandemic to some degree.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around this.
Yeah, so it's definitely one of the weirdest situations.
Yeah.
Again, in the end, this is all for Yuji Naka's case. It's revisionist history because, again, the game did come out. It was a terrible, incomplete game.
Yeah,
for the
and
most part.
that I will eventually have YouTube videos up for of my first playthrough of the game. Which
Yep, that is correct. Byron is playing the game, guys, so you don't have to. Make sure to give him a big
I
thank you.
played Balan, so you don't have to. You don't got to play Balan. I'll talk probably more about it when we do our year-end special. But yeah, if there's
we're gonna talk about the best games we played this year,
and I'll have to talk about the worst. But yeah, if there's any other developments that happen with this, we will cover it on future episodes of Who the Hell Asked, and yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
What
so
a note.
anyways, let's go ahead and end it here. This has been Slade.
Oh, and this has been a confused Byron saying we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.